Hey, Tony Jackson's here. Popping in. I'm in the hotel still working. So when I'm working on a project, I get in the hotel just to, be in a zone, just kind of block things out. But on a little break and got text messages and stuff to get back to. And if you wrote in to support, give me a couple days because I have to oversee all of that and, get stuff approved and sign off on stuff. So give me a couple days working through this project. But I wanted to talk to y'all who, you on your abstinence journey. You're on your abstinence journey and kind of help you, think about this and understand. I've done a video about this before, but a lot of times people don't get it. Now, first you have to realize the human need for recognition, the human need for praise. So when we start a new diet, when we abstain from alcohol, when we abstain from sex, when we do anything, we want a pat on the back. We want to be praised. We want to be admired. We want to be congratulated. So we share what we're doing with friends, with family, and sometimes on social media to get that praise, that adulation, to say, hey, congrats, good job, keep going. But when it comes to your abstinence journey, when you are abstaining from sex, that can be an issue. That could be a huge problem, because if you have ever had or battled with, a Jezebel spirit, then you understand that spirit of conquering. And so when you announce that you're abstaining, someone, male or female, could say, okay, I don't want you to be better than me, so I'm going to position myself to knock you off that path. And it could be someone, it will be someone who doesn't even want you. So it's kind of like if a woman, says out loud on Facebook, she posts that she's abstaining, or she's been abstaining for 400 days or what have you. I just saw a TikTok of a joke, but it could be serious too. Some young lady sliding down the stairs talking about after 800 days with no sex or whatever. You see people, do stuff like that. And on her video, she got on some leggings. So that could be seductive. That could be whatever. So now it's guys trying to find her, get in her DM. Hey, I want to take you out to dinner. And you get all this unnecessary traffic, all this unnecessary temptation. So when you say that, somebody's going to hear that. They're going to see that. And it's typically going to be somebody who looks down on you. Somebody who, and when I say looks down, meaning he or she feels like a 9 or a 10, and they feel you're a 5 or a 6. And because you are proud of yourself for abstaining, they come and position themselves. And then you think that because they look like a snack, they look like a dessert, you think that this is the universe or God rewarding you for your abstinence. And so you entertain this, not realizing that this person, this type of person, this person who looks like this has never been attracted to you in the history of your life. But you feel fine because you've been abstaining. So now you feel classy, you feel worthy, you feel better than you used to feel when you was loose bootied. And so you entertain this, and the person wines you and dines you. And because you've been abstaining, and because this is a commitment, and because you're committed to it, the person isn't going to rush you. They're not going to rush you in the bed and just try to do a one-night stand. They're going to break you down slowly. So they're going to get on the phone with you and they're going to talk to you about your hopes, your dreams, your fears. They're going to listen intently. They're going to be just amazing. It's going to feel like a divine connection. It's going to feel like this is the person for you. All your dreams have come true. The stars have aligned. Everything is working in your favor. You are not forgotten by God. He hears your prayers. You saw Loose Booty Lisa get married. You saw Thought Body Teresa get married, and you were ready to curse God out. And then here comes your prize. And so the next thing that happens is you having these conversations. You in fantasy land. You imagining, you envisioning, and then y'all go out to eat, talking, figure out your favorite restaurant, figure out your favorite drink. It could be a Shirley Temple. If you drink wine, figure out that favorite wine. Figure out your favorite brand. Come in there. You got to realize this spirit will pay thousands of dollars to sleep with somebody off Snapchat. So coming in with a $700 Hermes clasp bracelet ain't the end of the world. Coming in with the $500 David Yurman bracelet, that ain't the end of the world. And so now you posted this, but the fact that you talked about your abstinence journey is a sign that, and when I say talked about, I mean unasked, unprovoked, meaning it's just information you offering up. You go on a first date and you saying, yeah, I'm staying until marriage. I'm not talking to the people who this is a ministry, meaning you're doing podcasts, because I'm going to have somebody on my podcast, talking about that. Meaning you're doing podcasts and things to where you're not going to fail because you've been consistent for 10 years. You're a virgin. 10 years, 15 years, so you locked all the way in. I'm talking to the people who it's been less than a year. It's been less than 2 years. You going on willpower. You going on human strength. And you sharing this up on Facebook. You sharing this on YouTube. You sharing this on Instagram. You calling in spirits. You calling in people that they so lost, they so purposeless. This what they get a kick out of, is knocking people off their path. Being that seducing spirit that knock people off their path. And that's what they want to do. So here you are, you sitting there, and now everything's stringed together. So if you got your favorite rolls, you got your favorite restaurant, you got your favorite drink, you got a 4-0 gift. It's been 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. So you got trust. So now after dinner, going back to his or her apartment, it's no biggie because you really know this person. You really dating this person. And then now you get there and one thing lead to another, from a cuddle, from a caress, to a tight hug, to a kiss on the neck, to a kiss somewhere else, to a kiss somewhere else. Next thing you know, you questioning your entire existence. You crying out to God in your head, asking for forgiveness because this day done been so amazing. You really feel your guard's about to drop and you finna give in, and not just your guard's about to drop, but something else about to drop. And God is gracious, God is forgiving, God is loving, He is all knowing, He is understanding. You telling yourself all of this. before you fall into that trap. And the reason being is because you announced it and you said it, and you either told it on the first date, told it in the first month, or told it on social media because you wanted some brownie points. You either wanted some brownie points or because you thought that would be a hedge of protection. There's typically two reasons why people tell people they're abstinent. Either for it to be a hedge of protection saying, don't try me, or to get some brownie points. And then the third would be to be a witness, to be, purpose-based. But even that is dangerous. You got to know what come with it, and that a lot come with it. And I was talking to a young man last night who, I'm going to interview and talk to just because he done been so strong. It's been 14 years for him, saving himself. And so we're going to talk about that. And no, he's not into men or anything like that. And so that's also something powerful too, to be abstaining, saving yourself, or to be a virgin over the age of 30 and not be in, and it's not because you into your same gender, it's because you just that committed to this for your life, for your relationship with God, for your health, your safety, your sanity, whatever your reasoning may be. And so that's different at that point. But for those of y'all, you a year in, you 2 years in, maybe even 3 or 4 years in, like until you a decade in, you still ain't got your footing. Because especially if you done been there before. It's like riding a bicycle. Till you a decade in, you ain't got your footing. And I receive messages from women who say, Tony, I was abstinent 5 years and then boom, got sucked in this relationship, thought it was a real deal, thought it was their husband, and then boom, 5 years down the drain. I done got messages, Tony, I was 2 years or 4 years, got sucked in, boom, got in the bed, caught herpes after being abstinent for 2 years. Done got messages, I done got letters, Tony, hey, I was abstinent 6 years, got into a relationship, got weak, boom, fell in there. We ain't last 2 more months. We ain't last a year. We ain't last 2 years. And I hear this all the time. And then people like, man, 2 years of abstinence down the drain. 5 years down the drain. 6 years down the drain. 7, 8 years down the drain. And it's because you ain't got your footing yet. You're doing it, but you haven't really connected to the purpose of why you're doing it. Because when you really connect to the purpose of why you're doing something, ain't nothing can knock you off your square. Nothing can knock you off when you really connect to the purpose. But when you're doing it for a fad, you're doing it to be trendy, you're doing it to look special. Like the reason why a lot of people do certain diets is to look special. The reason why a lot of people, fast and talk about it online is to look special. And so, but when you really connect to a purpose of why you're doing something, you locked in. You locked in. So I'm connected to the root of why I'm faithful to my wife. So because I'm connected to the root, now it's like, y'all gotta forgive me, I just sitting here trying to have my little lunch and stuff and take my breath sometime. So now, because I'm connected to the root of why I'm faithful, I'm mindful. I'm noticing everything. And so I used to respond to DMs and just being innocent, just being nice, trying to be approachable. But then as I went on, I said, okay, it's more spirits out here. So now, to the ladies, if you DM me a question in the past and was in the section that got to be approved, and I answered your question and then now you DM me and you don't get an answer, that's because I'm shielding that. Because now I don't know what spirit is what. I don't know how spirit moving. So instead of going in the DM, click the email that's in my bio and sending an email. That way it's a professional channel. It's a public channel. It's not just talking directly to me. My wife could see it. Whoever, an assistant could see it. But that's a better channel. And so I share that to say that even me as a married man who is not just on an abstinence journey, like you may be on, I have to put up guardrails and boundaries. And you have to do the same thing when you committed to something. So, hey, think about this. Get this in your spirit. Sit with it. And just, really identify your reasoning, your purpose. And don't let anybody tell you that it's cruel of you to date and not tell the person you're dating that you're waiting. Don't let nobody tell you that. Don't let nobody tell you that you need to tell that on the first date. Because I remember when I was telling people, hey, don't announce to a man that you are abstaining until marriage, because he may go into game mode. He may go into challenge mode. There was women who was in the comments, well, such and such said that you should tell because that is your commitment and there's nothing to be ashamed about. And if that's what you're doing, you should tell that because it should not matter. And women was in the comments, well, I'm gonna take the advice of such and such. They were mentioning another guy who speak on relationships. And then I told people, I said, the only reason a man who has a platform will tell women that they should tell a man if they are abstaining is because that man is still playing the game. And when he meets you, he's talking to you, he wants to know right away if you are abstaining because he doesn't want to waste his time while playing the game. And then sure enough, a year later, maybe 2 years, that man that the other women who listened to both of us and could not tell the difference between the real and the fake, that man was exposed for cheating on his wife. Not 10 years ago, in the height of his career, the women he slept with, 2 or 3 of them, came out and told that they were sleeping with him. And I had told y'all, I know what I'm talking about. I was that guy, meaning before I met my wife, I was about the town. I understood relationship connection. I understand how men play games and why a man will say certain things. It's a difference between the real and the fake. Because if I'm being real as a man and I meet a woman and this woman is abstaining, that is none of my business. That's between her and God. It benefits her none to tell me that she's abstaining. It benefits me because if I'm playing a game, then I know, okay, let me put a full court press on and test her to see if she really is about that. Or let me drop her like a hot potato and don't even give her the opportunity, don't even take the time to get to know her, and let me go on about my business. When in fact, if the man wasn't thirsty and nasty and desperate to get in the bed, he could actually get to know that woman, fall in love with that woman, and then realize that sleeping with her is not the greatest thing. That knowing her and loving her is the cake. And then sleeping with her when he marries her is the icing on the cake. So now I understand, as great as love making can be, I understand that love making is conversation. Love making have nothing to do with what you do in the bed or in the backseat of the car or wherever you at. And I now understand that it feels better. As amazing as love making can feel, it feels better for me to have a conversation with my wife. It feels better for me to be on a date with my wife, because that's real love making. So because I am in love, sex cannot compare to love. But see, a lot of people don't know that. So when you tell people that you are abstaining, they think that you're holding from them the greatest thing that exists in human connection. And it's because they have never been in love. And it's because they don't know what real love is. So by telling someone that you are abstaining, you are shooting yourself in the foot, because you're blocking the opportunity of a connection being made. And what the other gentlemen and other people out there who are playing the game like he was playing the game, because it was other men saying the same thing, and I could look at each of them and tell they were trying to get women in the bed. And what they're saying is, oh, if you tell somebody and they leave you, that was the point. That's the purpose. You ran them off. And that's not true. Because 99.9% of humans don't know what they're missing. Because 99.9% of humans have never been in real love. So by you abstaining, you're venturing to be in that top 0.1% of people who have real love. Now, me and my wife, we got it from in marriage. We didn't build real love from abstaining. But I don't teach that and recommend that, because that rarely works out the way it happened for us. But for you, when you abstain, all you're doing, so people say, well, Tony, if I'm not telling that I'm waiting till marriage, what do I do if the person keeps asking? You keep turning down. You're not dealing with a child. You're not dealing with someone who can't connect the dots. This is an adult. So when you turn somebody down 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, it is clear and evident that you are abstaining. And when they ask you, are you abstaining? And you say, I'm not ready to have with you, then that answers that. Some people want to disarm you because they're playing a game. Someone who has your best interest at heart, they're not trying to get you to spell out your game plan, to spell out your blueprint. They will respect your boundaries. So just by turning someone down, you're doing the same thing as if you were to say, I am abstaining until marriage. Because a person who is not interested in you and getting to know you, when they are turned down numerous of times, they're going to move on with their life. Typically around the 3-month mark, if they've been turned down numerous times, they're going to move on with their life. If they continue to stick around, the more they stick around, the more y'all talk. Their presence is saying to you, I see something more in you, and I'm interested in that. So I'm talking to you. And I'm sticking around because I want to get to know more. And in that space, that's where you're creating love. That's where you're making love. Because in that space, that's where you're getting to know each other. And so just by turning someone down, and then turning someone down, and then turning someone down, you put them in a place to make a decision. Respect boundaries. Stick around, wait and see what happens, or leave. All three benefit the person who is abstaining, without the person who is abstaining having to say, I am abstaining. So listen to me. This ain't gonna be understood by everybody. And the reason why it's not gonna be understood, and this is why I tell people, if you don't understand it now, just keep living life. You'll understand it when you get to that fork in the road. You'll understand it when you get there. And you have to understand that we get different levels of understanding at different points in life. So my level of understanding comes from being monogamous for over a decade. Being monogamous in a marriage gives you clarity. My level of understanding also comes from having 3.5 million people across my social media networks and being able to read countless relationship stories, which is data. My level of understanding comes from playing the game at the highest level. So you have to understand, if you don't have a similar experience, what I'm saying to you may not make full sense. If you don't have the same goals or desires for a healthy, happy marriage, what I'm saying to you may not make sense. So you have to get to a place to where you can look at the messenger and choose whether to trust the messenger or not. And I'm about to do another video on something to help you understand about messengers. Because like you see, I'm sitting in here in the hotel room. I could be in a tank top, trying to bulge shoulders or something, trying to flex muscles, trying to make my chest, and that's what one of the gentlemen that was out there telling women, you need to tell a man, you should tell a man, it's okay to tell a man you're abstaining right away. That's what one of them gentlemen was doing, showing off muscles and trying to be a sex symbol, trying to seduce. And I'm going to talk to you about that, about messengers who are seducing with a seducing spirit to get you to open your wallet from seduction, to get you to drop your guards from seduction. I'm going to talk to you about that. And you're going to see it, and then you're going to be able to look around and be able to tell. So, hey, it's Tony Gaskin. Don't forget my little leather chip making that noise. We'll talk soon. And I'm working. So I ain't sure when I'll be done working. And then I'm going to meet a potential business mentor this week. And then next Monday, we're gonna be in Iowa doing a little speaking engagement for the college students. So if you at that Iowa school, you may know about it. I don't like to announce my whereabouts till after I'm gone. So if you ain't there, you ain't there. You ain't meant to be there. But me and one of my mentees gonna be up there. But what I'm doing is I see y'all DMs sometimes in the section that I would have to approve, and some of y'all sending me content and topic stuff that's been said, and so that is what give me my video topics and what I speak on. And so I appreciate that, because I want to have my finger on the pulse, not just pulling topics out of thin air. I want to be able to respond to what's going on in the world, what's being said, in pop culture, so that messaging can be balanced and be fair and have different perspectives. So, hey, God bless you. We'll talk soon.